How's everyone doing today? Audio test. How's everyone doing today? Oh, that is a lot of delay on YouTube. Let me see. Twitch. I'll get caught up with chat here in a moment. Just let me get my Twitch window open, which is live. This window closed. Okay. Lem, Brauken, Steele, Martin. They managed to fix it. Yeah, the Nova one's fixed. All existing ones should have been unbound also. That was entirely a bug, and that should now be resolved. There we go. Chat, how's it going? How's the head? A little bit better today. I'm gonna get caught up with chat here, and I missed a bunch of YouTube stuff. I don't see anything on Twitch so far. So let me just get caught up with this here quick. Yeah, I've heard the hair from the free giveaway costumes is not working with every race yet, but I think that's gonna be fixed. I did some other testing the other night, and I managed to get 10 DPS out of Badgey before the buff. So we'll see how it does. Nice, Martin. Kyle, Mac, Steel, Mike, Azimdal, Michi, Chiaps, Lem, Bacon Fat. Oh, dude, good. Eric, good to hear. Jay, Tavin, Chat, 2005, intriguing. Gibbs, I know, Badgey is life. Neil Thomas, how's it going? Yeah, they've been, honestly, Deca has been, Cryptic and Deca, they've been, the change in direction to go back in and adjust things that are poorly received so quickly after release. That's a really good change. It looks like YouTube has like a 30-second delay to go back in and adjust. Yeah, it's like 20-30 seconds. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. So to summarize the results from the other day, the Lobi stuff wasn't really that impressive when we were looking at it on the stream on Tuesday. And the developers have heard the feedback that these things were not performing very well. And with the patch today, alongside fixing the Nova 1, they did go through and buff up several of the brand new Lobi items. Yeah, I've got it, Gibbs. Yeah, I've got a combat badgie. So let me go over the buffs that they put in the patch notes here, and then I'm gonna just do a quick recap afterwards of all the new Lobi additions. So they added a number of improvements to the following items. For the Agis aggression network, this is a kit module. They updated the logic behind how the Agimite drones find targets, which should allow more of them to more accurately engage when there are only a few targets available. So this should do a little bit more damage. 1701, how's it going? Organator. I just was dealing with some migraines. Yeah, that is a big delay. Okay, then for the Sword of the Winter Constellation, they increased the damage of the tertiary melee attack by 150%, increased damage of the murder bug stings by 100%, and increased damage of the knife throw proc by 100%. So that melee weapon, the thing with that is it costs 200 Lobi instead of the traditional 50 Lobi that you would see Lobi weapons cost. So for that increased cost, it should be pretty damn good. So unfortunately, in the testing the other day, it wasn't that impressive, but they have went through and buffed it. Yeah, melee is still useless, but this should make it better. Badgey very much did kill in the show. I mean, I assume at this point people have watched Lower Decks, but remember Badgey went over and self-destructed the ship. The next thing is the Betazoid Lipstick Baton. So they added the capability of affecting slightly more targets, including Borg. So this is why when I was trying to use this in the Jupiter Station Patrol, it wasn't doing anything. It couldn't damage the Borg, but now it can. Resolved an issue that was preventing this weapon from scaling with skills, so that should be a pretty nice boost there. And they increased the damage by about 50%. Yeah, they've been really good about it recently. I mean, remember the Herogen Predator trait that was criticized for performing very poorly, and they did go through and buff it up. Yeah, 17-1, I agree. 200 Lobi for a weapon is rough for a ground weapon. And then there's the Badgey Combat Pet. They increased damage of standard attacks by about 50% and increased the health of Badgey by about 100% so that it can stay alive longer and actually do things in combat. And then the other thing for the patch here is they resolved an issue with the Typhoon Starship Mastery traits, which were showing the special Hysperion versions by mistake. I didn't even notice that, to be honest. Endeavor, how's it going? They are aware of the issue with the Vovin losing its inspiration abilities. That is a bug. That is entirely a bug. I don't know when that fix is gonna, be pushed out to bring that functionality back, but that was very much unintended. Yeah, Ed, like I said, they've been doing really good with this stuff this year. Chris, how's it going? Just gonna do everything quick. Okay, for the new Lobi items, there were quite a few additions here. The start of this blog is just going over the giveaways, which again are live on PC right now. You can go to the promotions tab in the Zen store to claim these. These were bugged and were requiring that you claim them per character, but they're meant to be an account-wide unlock, from what I understand. So I don't know if that was resolved with the patch today. Kyle, we'll find out. What was the lore of the Typhoon? It was supposed to be one of the harder hitting Federation ships early on in the game. Yeah, I don't know all of the lore with it, to be honest. The lore stuff, that's not really my specialty. I need more Ferengi ships. Yeah, Dan, how's it going? Okay. So I'm gonna focus on just getting through this vlog here quick with the Lobi items, just to recap what they are, what they do. Starting off here is the Universal Kit Module Exceptional Compromise. This has a cost of 200 Lobi. Banners, how's it going? And what this does is it will target, or when you target a foe with this kit module, it will force them into a compliant state where lower rank enemies will find themselves confused and completely unable to attack for a length of time or until they receive a significant amount of damage. And if you use this against higher ranked foes, they are going to be placated and have a penalty to their outgoing damage, a debuff. So I do have these in game and I can actually show the tooltip. So let's take a look at the Exceptional Compromise tooltip here. Okay. This is probably going to be a bit small for you guys, so I am going to zoom in on it. Yeah, the upgrade weekend is live, yes. Okay, so you do have to be within 9 meters in order to use this kit module on a foe. And if the target is commander rank or lower, it will confuse and disable them indefinitely or until receiving damage equal to 33% of their maximum health. If the target, and what it does too is when it does the Against the lower ranked enemies, it will also make them visually appear like Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain. So it is pretty funny to see that. It'll confuse them and cause them to do damage to other nearby foes. And if the target is a player or NPC of captain rank or higher, it will placate for X amount of time and again give that outgoing damage debuff. The other stuff here is just from other stuff that I have on my build, so just ignore those bottom parts. So it's a really interesting kit module. Again, you can use this to make a foe appear like Mark Twain. It's fun, but it's not, a performance kit module. It costs 200 Lobi. You cannot buy it off the exchange. It is immediately bound to you upon you buying it from the Lobi store. So if you want this, you're going to have to shell out the Lobi for it, and you're not really getting damage from this. It's more about debuffing the target. So it's a debuff kit module to debuff the outgoing damage, basically, of bigger targets, or to just confuse and disable lower rank targets. It's interesting, but nothing, crazy to worry about. The next kit module is the Agis Aggression Network. And what this does is it will deploy the little Agis computer thing, and it's going to launch a bunch of drones that will go out, stun targets, knockback targets, taunt targets, and do damage to them. And yeah, the drones will commence the fire at will protocol, unleashing anti-proton bolts on any nearby foes as it see fits. Is the combat Badgey a lower drop rate? We're going to go over the drop rates here in a few minutes. I opened 1,000 of the Badgey boxes on Tribble, and the drop rate is atrocious. So when we get to Badgey, I'll be going over the drop rate. So when you use this, it's going to deploy an Agis unit for 40 seconds, and Agis will deploy an Agamite drone every second with a maximum of 8 out at a time. So it is interesting. And 1701, I think you did a short showing off the visuals of this, right? I'll show off the visuals when I get around to hopping into a patrol here in a few minutes, but it is some really neat visuals. And the cost for this kit module is also 200 Lobi, and it is bound to you upon acquiring it, so you can't buy it off the exchange. You have to get it through the Lobi store. And this is what that looks like. There's the tooltip for anyone wanting to see it. You can have it up damn near the entire time. Like it's up for 40 seconds, and the recharge, isn't that much longer than that. So it's a fun little device, and I'll show it off in a patrol here in a couple minutes. Nice. Dan? Okay, the next item here is the Orion Sword of the Winter Constellation. This is the one that just got a bunch of buffs today. And this thing, the issue with this is a Lobi ground weapon that costs 200 Lobi. Most of your Lobi ground weapons have a base cost of 50. This has a base cost of 200, like the Magellan staff that they put in about a year or so back. And this is also going to immediately bind to you upon you purchasing it, meaning that it cannot be sold on the exchange. If you want it, you have to buy it yourself. It has some neat visual effects. It has a chance to throw a knife towards another nearby foe when you're using it. It's interesting, but melee weapons in the game generally don't perform that well. They're certainly not anywhere near the ground meta. So if you're using this, it's going to be more of a for fun thing. And again, they did buff the damage of it, and we'll take a look at that here when I get into the patrols in a little bit. David? Yeah. For 200 Lobi, you would expect it to be one of the top melee weapons in the game. If you're not getting your Lobi from the event campaign, then you're typically opening lock boxes or promo packs to get your Lobi, and each promo pack is 10 Lobi per. Each lockbox on average is getting you about 5.4 Lobi per. So, 200 Lobi or 160 during the sale, that's pretty expensive. And, for that cost, you would expect it to perform pretty damn well. Yeah, you can make melee builds work, but they are nowhere near the performance capabilities of your more traditional ground builds. Yeah. Next up is the lipstick baton. Now with this thing, this is a sidearm device, so this is not upgradable. It is something that you put into a device slot, and it's going to replace your default melee. So there's a couple other things in the game that work like this: the Confederation comm badge, the Terran knife, and are there any others aside from that? I think is it just those three? Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is just something you put into a device slot, and it will replace your default melee. And from the testing I initially did, it was indeed better than your default melee. But the issues that I had with it were it wasn't doing anything against the Borg, which they have now fixed here with the patch today. And they also went through and buffed its damage up. So, I mean, compared to the other ones, when I was testing in a PvP the other night, it was actually already doing pretty well against some of the other ones. So if they have buffed the damage up, then this is probably one of the better options for those melee replacement devices. Yeah. Infamy, the Talaru was just my personal preference. For EPG builds, science carriers are making a comeback right now. And if you take a look at the builds by like Parrot and Neojet over in the builds Discord in the EPG section, you can see some of the other ships that have been used. For instance, the Terran Monitor is actually the top Psi carrier right now. I use the Talaru because I like the Talaru. But we can talk about that later on. I'm gonna focus on the Lobi stuff for right this moment. But yeah, the sidearm device, the lipstick baton, it's a neat visual. I think it's for 50 Lobi or 40 Lobi during the sale. I think it is better than the Confederation comm badge. So that was okay. And then there's a new ground and space personal trait. The ground one's bartered by combat. The space one's Drukmani salvage claim. Basically, while you have these traits slotted, anytime you defeat a foe, there's a chance of having additional rewards granted directly into your inventory. So you can get EC, contraband, and any of these other commodities. This is an expensive trait, and the drop rate from these is not that great from what I've seen. You're not going to be getting back a ton of EC right away. I think you'd have to use this for like a couple hundred hours to make this trait pay itself off. Like that's how the drop rate of this has been so far. Like I did a patrol, and I came out of the patrol getting like 2600 EC, along with some commodities, which I think I sold for a couple thousand more. It's an interesting concept. It's just that being a Lobi trait, um, the value of this on the exchange is going to be 50 to 60 mil, and it's going to take you a very long time using this trait to see a return from it. Yeah, it is very similar. It's basically turning you into one of the Orion slaver hanger pets, which do the exact same thing where they steal resources, except this one is based on you getting a kill. Is there still demand for the advanced obelisk? Yeah, I mean, I had 10 of them that I bought with the last Lobi sale, and I've sold all of them. It's a slow but steady demand. Badge, how's it going? Weaponized assault penguin. Glad you could make it. So yeah, these traits, they cost 200 Lobi crystals per, 160 during the sale. You can also just buy them off the exchange. Let's see what they're going for right now. So the ground one is barter by combat. That is 70 million. And the other one's Drukamani. This is the space one. That's 56.5 mil. So I don't think they're really worth it at that price. You know, like I said, you're going to have these things equipped for an extremely long time in order to see them pay themselves off. Like, they are interesting, but I just don't think they're worth it. Okay, and before I get into Badgey, there is also the Sam Clemens formal wear. This is a uniform that you can get in the Lobi store. It does not bind to you upon pickup, so it can be sold. And these, let's see what they're currently going for on the exchange. 76 million. So these are 200 Lobi per, 160 during the sale. You can sell them. You can just buy them off the exchange if you don't want to use Lobi. And yeah, that's, you know, if you want those visuals, I've seen that there's quite a few customization options with these. I think someone on the Stowe subreddit posted one where they made themselves look like a clown using this outfit. So you do have some options. Where you guys gone? Short? Yeah, Muse and I went over that already. Yeah. Wraith, how's it going? Ice Wolf? Yeah, so the Sam Clemens outfit, you know, if you want that, you can spend the Lobi on it, but to me, if there is something from the Lobi store that you can just buy directly on the exchange from another player, I would rather use the EC than spend the Lobi on it, because Lobi is so expensive to acquire, and I know we all just got a bunch free from the event campaign, but still, you know, that 160 Lobi that this outfit is going to cost during the sale, that would take you like 30 keys to get that much Lobi. Whereas you could just go in and sell like 6 or 7 master keys and end up with enough EC to just buy one directly off the exchange. So I would recommend just going the EC route if you want this rather than burning Lobi. But you know, that's up to you. Now let's talk about Badgey. There's 4 Badgey variants in the game. There's 3 that are non-combat, and then there's the 1 combat pet variant. And you guys know that I like to open boxes to see what drop rates are. I have a problem. Y'all know this. So I went over to Tribble and I opened 1,000 of them. I opened 1,000 of these boxes over on Tribble. See what the drop rate is. And the EC values on this spreadsheet are not going to be completely accurate because I haven't updated it since a couple hours ago, but the drop rate for Badgey, 6.7%. I did this opening entirely on Tribble, so I did not burn any real resources. But 6.7%. That means that to get the combat version of Badgey, it's a 1 in 15 drop rate, basically. One in 15. I think it would have been better. And my feedback here to them would be, you know, if they're going to do stuff like this again in the future, have the non-combat pets just there at the normal price that non-combat vanity pets are at, and then just directly sell, like a Badgey equivalent in just the ground items tab of the store, where we can just directly buy it and not need to deal with this level of RNG. Each Badgey box has a base cost of 100 Lobi crystals. During the sale, that's 80. So, 1 in 15 drop rate. Someone could spend their entire 1500 Lobi from the event campaign trying to get this Badgey combat pet, and they could not get it. The RNG is low enough that there's a chance you could spend that much Lobi on it and not get it. Remember, when I opened these on stream the other day, it took me 26 boxes to get a combat Badgey. You are better off just buying the box from the Lobi store and just selling it. You are better off, if you're really wanting it, just buying it off the exchange. Like that RNG right there is atrocious. Especially with Lobi, which is already a currency that traditionally is obtained through gambling. Only to then have it as another gamble box within the gamble currency. It's just... it's rough. I think that, my cost-wise, the two biggest issues I have with these Lobi editions is the cost of that ground melee weapon. 200 Lobi, I just don't know why they're doing 200 for the ground weapons like that. If they're gonna put something that expensive, it needs to be like a just huge performer for that play style. And for these combat pets like this, the drop rate on this is so low, and then the performance of it was just so abysmal. They're trying to normalize it as the price. I know. We heard you didn't like gambling, so we put gambling in your gambling. Yeah. So yeah, it is really terrible RNG. Again, I did 1,000 boxes over on the triple test server, and that was the result. 67 out of 1,000 boxes. 1 out of 15. So, if you're wanting a combat Badgey, the performance from it, even though they buffed it, probably isn't going to be that impressive. We'll test that out here in a little bit. But I think if you're really wanting one of these things, the best bet for you is to just buy it directly off the exchange. You can buy the combat Badgey for 270 mil right now. And if you really want this, I would much rather spend 270 mil to get it rather than go through the experience I went through, where I bought 26 of the boxes in order to even just get one. 26 boxes at 80 per. I spent just under 2,100 Lobi to get mine. I would rather have just spent the 300 mil. So let's go over the Badgey visuals now. And on another note, while I have a bunch of you here, people have been asking about the pulse phaser weapon packs from the event. They are able to be opened one by one, and you get to pick each one that you want. Yeah, I think the Gamma Recruit will probably pop up next month. Okay. So here is Badgey Mark II. This is the normal Badgey. non-combat pet. We're looking at the non-combat pets now. There's no sounds for Badgey for the non-combat ones from what I've heard so far. It is funny watching this thing chase after you though. Even the non-combat one there, just chasing after you is interesting. Okay, this is Goodgie. Yeah, and these non-combat Badgey variants are really cheap on the exchange. So if you want these Badgey variants, the non-combat ones, they are very, very inexpensive on the exchange. Do not use Lobi to get them. So I'm going to show that real quick, just how expensive the non-combat ones are, or inexpensive. The Badgey Mark II, the yellow one there, 1.5 million. The Goodgie, 300k. And the Logic one, also 300k. So it's just the combat one that is really expensive. The other variants are very cheap. Now let's see, Logic. The run cycle is hilarious indeed. I don't know why the shadows are... Yeah, indeed. Never use Lobi for things you can get off the exchange? Absolutely. They're always going to be this cheap because people are always going to be opening the boxes to try and get the combat variant. Yeah, Madman, but you can completely skip that by just buying it off the player exchange. For under 300 mil right now, you could buy the combat variant and the 3 non-combat variants just with EC, rather than using your Lobi on them. Okay. So I'm going to start up a secondary account, and we're going to see if the damage is better with the combat Badgey now. I have done on the exchange. But that does make me want to bring up a point that there is giveaways for the non-combat pet variants of Badgey in the builds and the CasualSAB Discord. So if you're wanting to enter those giveaways, those Discords are linked down below. Secondary account, time for leaks. Terrible. Okay, let's go into a ground PvP here. Yeah, Deca, I would very much want to see a lockbox overhaul under Deca. You know, I opened probably about 300 lockboxes yesterday. I made a lot of EC selling off some of my Lobi for these lower decks Badgies. So I was able to gamble quite a bit because of that. Got a few T6 boxes, as some of you saw. But like the experience of opening the lock boxes, it's rough. It is really, really quite rough. All the trash in there that should be in choice packs, that isn't in choice packs. Like it would be just much better if things were all in choice packs in Infinity. It would be just a much, much better experience. Okay, so I'm going to use the combat Badgey against the secondary account. Now I'm going to start combat log 1. Let's Get the parser up. That's visible for you guys. Okay, so for this other account, I am going to also just take the shields off it. You know, it's got basically nothing. So I'm gonna hit the combat Badgey here, which apparently is not. There it is. Yeah, I gotta wait 30 seconds before I can use it. Yeah, Kath got 8 DPS after the patch. Against a static target, I got Badgey to do 10 DPS with no buffing, no debuffing. So let's see here. Where did that go on my tray? Okay, here is Badgey.
Can I teach you a lesson? Personal shield losing power. Digital god!
Very violent. If the target stands still, it will start to do that, but if it starts to move again, it's going to run and... Sometimes it does go invisible. It seems to be happening more with the after the patch.
Flanking damage detected. Can I teach you a lesson?
So I mean, before I was seeing about 10 DPS, and now I'm in like 15, 16.
Personal shield losing power.
It does also hold the foe when it's doing the stabbing.
Flanking damage detected.
It's really funny. Like, using this thing in a patrol and just watching it chase targets is funny. It does, yeah, as you can see there, sometimes it does not appear.
Can I teach you a lesson?
And if it's up for the entire time, it has an interesting animation that it'll do. It's doing them kicks, it's certainly doing a bit more. Really is just funny to watch, though.
Flanking damage detected.
And it has 1773 hit points now. Ascendance is available for it. I don't know why it's not doing it. Try to kill it now.
Personal shield losing power.
The animations are different per account too. That's interesting. It's not automatically ascending like it did before. Ascendance available, but it's not doing it. So prior to the patch, after like 2 minutes, it would do that animation for it ascending. I thought it would have here. Apparently not.
Personal shield losing power.
Okay, let me summon another. Holds for a decent amount of time.
Flanking damage detected. Can I teach you a lesson?
Didn't trigger the mines there. There it did. Okay, is it gonna ascend?
Personal shield losing power.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, after 2 minutes it was ascending yesterday, but today it's not.
Sensors.
Might just be a bug, might just be the map. I don't know. Yeah, when he despawns, it's supposed to like ascend. Yeah. So I do have a demo record. Let me open demo record up. Yeah, so yeah, I had it descend the other day. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm gonna turn these other accounts down to render scale 0.1 for the moment, just because I have 3 clients up now. The test map on Tribble is currently broken, and the those enemies aren't there spawning. I think I've got the animation here of it ascending.
Can I teach you a lesson?
Read through this and see if I got it. Here it goes. So here's the start of the ascension. Yes, that is the ascension animation right there. Sorry, I'm not keeping up with chat too well right now. The hold might be the real benefit. Yeah, I mean it runs around, holds enemies. I mean that is useful. Yeah, the hold seems fine. Again, I don't know why the ascendancy part was not working right there, but yeah, I mean that's neat. Let me go back so I can show that again. So that was 2 minutes 45 in. Let me skip that. I'm just using demo record to look at this. Faster. Yeah, I saw that Master Replicas has the Stargate Atlantis Stargate now available. Yeah. Okay, so it's right around here, right? 225, or is it 40? Okay. So here is Badgey doing the ascension thing again. Let me remove. I can't remove the character there. Okay. Let's see. Is there any sound? That's what the animation's supposed to be like. It just didn't do it for me in the PvP here. Get render scale back on. The Orion murder sword yet. We'll get to that. Yeah, their stands for Master Replicas don't seem to be too impressive for the Stargates that they're doing. I'll pop that up real quick just to show you guys. I can get their website to load. And also, while we're on the topic of master replicas, they do also happen to have a Badgey plushie you can get if you happen to want that. And that'll be shipping out next month. But for the Stargate Atlantis, yeah. The stand I'm not a fan of, but you can take the Stargate out of it and make your own stand. So, yeah, that's certainly interesting. I don't have that or the SG1 ordered yet. If I'm gonna, I haven't decided what I'm gonna do there yet. Greg, how's it going? Species? $55 for a frisbee? Yeah. I mean, if I do a video on it, then, you know, tax write-up. I don't know. Okay. Let's see here. I've got the sword on. I do also have the melee weapon, Betazoid Lipstick Baton. Let's take a look at that because that got buffed up here today. So I can go over, and if I just deploy that here in my hand here first, that's what it looks like with the effects. Ordered mine? Or you ordered one? Yeah. So here's what it looks like when you're just holding it in your hand. And then when you're actually using it,
Personal shield losing power.
extends out, does that red effect there that you see.
Personal shield losing
And every time you use it, it increases the chance of you doing the stun or whatever on the target. And when the stun goes off, that's what it looks like. So that is the device, and from the very limited testing I did, this seemed to do better than the Confederation Comm Badge and the Terran Knife that I had. And that was before the patch. So, you know, if that's something you're interested in as a melee replacement, then you know, that's 40 Lobi during the sale. Greg, the Merc Worker Flight Deck Carrier variant is the best. Yeah. Yeah, I've got too many ships. I need to go through and sell a bunch of them. Especially a lot of the mystery box ships. Yeah, there's a really long stun for PvP, but you have to be in melee range for that stun to go off. So, I mean, it's unlikely you're gonna get that close. Okay, let's use the actual melee weapon. This is the sword, and this does have its own special melee, which you will lose if you have the lipstick baton equipped at the same time. So if you want to use the melee that this sword has, you do need to not have that equipped. This is sweeping stingers. This will summon 4 Orion murder bugs for 10 seconds, which will each attack a random nearby foe with toxic damage. So let's take a look at that. Orion murder bugs.
losing power. Enemy combatants in close proximity.
And again, you know, this is against an account that's bare bones. So they did about 500 damage. Robert, how's it going? 500 damage unbuffed just from the pets that the melee summons. Now, if I'm point blank and I use that,
Personal shield losing power. Flanking damage detected. Enemy combatants in close proximity.
I mean, this to me, melee weapons like this are more of a for fun thing to use. But certainly, you know, if you're a melee fan, you know, this might appeal to you. Tap into that other account. Not accepting my commands. Oh, that would be why. Okay. Robert, yeah. Thank you, they... Yeah, it's got that special effect where it summons in those pets, which, I mean, you saw there.
Shield losing power.
They'll go out and just target random things. 2 of them are going to target that medical generator. So it is very much random things. They're not going to go to the nearest foe. And for the exceptional compromise kit module, this is the one that will turn foes into Mark Twain. I might be able to use that on this med gen. Up against a medical generator, it doesn't really do anything there. That would have been funny if it would have done that. But yeah, I do also have the Agis aggression network here, so let me set up a med and shield gen here. Let me put shields back on just so we can see what this does to that secondary account. Just gonna med gen down. Just try to keep that secondary account alive. But here is the Agis aggression network. This is the other kit module. The sounds are a bit low, but that might just be me. You can hear it laughing quite a bit as it's launching all of its drones.
Enemy combatants in close proximity.
Very evilish laugh, you know, every time it's doing things.
Personal shield losing power.
That knockback is effective. You just saw it knock that account a bit far back. And again, that's up for 40 seconds, but it does have a low enough cooldown that you can damn near have it up the entire time. Yeah, that audio is really quiet. That is very strong knockback indeed. Audio.
Flanking damage detected.
So it's under FX volume. You own portable Jeffrey Combs, yep. That took out the secondary account. That laugh. Yeah, so I'm going to get that other account back up there. Just give me a moment. Yeah, it you know, I don't know DPS wise how it's gonna perform in that regard, you know, like in one of your traditional ground DPS maps, but I'm pretty effective at knocking back the foes for sure. Okay. So I'm going to deploy this and I'm going to pull up the screen from the other side just so we get that point of view.
Agis reigns!
Snooped my gens, it stunned me. Thomas, I don't think the new traits are really that impressive. The numbers on them are a bit low from everything I've seen so far. Yeah, I mean, I think that Agis kit module, that's pretty fun to use. Again, if you want that, you have to buy it yourself with Lobi. Yeah. Is Agis buffed by anything? That's a good question. Let's take a look at that again. So Agis. K-perf is what I'm seeing here, but I don't, I haven't tested with interactions with any other kit modules. I don't know how it works with any of the other stuff people would traditionally run for ground. Ground isn't something I really, spend a ton of time with other than the exchange. But I think that's fun. I think that's a fun kit module. What items should I purchase with my extra Lobi to put onto the market for good EC? It's usually traits. Space Explorer is a great gig, is a ground trait that tends to sell pretty well. That's a very effective ground trait. A lot of high-end builds use it, and it doesn't get as much attention as something like Boimler. So Space Explorer, Shadow of the Black Mountain, those are both some really good ground Lobi traits. I wouldn't say they're meta, but they are certainly fun. They're fun new things to use for ground. This is just a PvP map. Yeah, this is just one of the old PvP maps for ground. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like Val just said, Shadow of the Black Mountain and Space Explorer. Like if you're looking for Lobi traits to pick up for, to either use or to sell, those are some really great traits from the Lobi store that have less supply on the market because everyone just focuses Boimler. These are two meta ground traits that are pretty good sellers. Yeah, the new items are not meta, but they're fun. That would be the best way to describe them. John, yeah, side carriers are on a bit of a redemption arc because of the Voven console. So I posted a Polaru build in the Discord the other day. I used this recently to do some solo runs, including a solo Kittimer Elite. And others like Parrot and Neojet have been getting some really impressive numbers with these things. The build I'm using is based off of what Neojet and Parrot have done. And I just adapted it and made a couple small changes for the Talaru. Yeah, the side carriers, because Type 7s and just the console spam with the Voven, they're really, really effective right now. Like I said, they're setting records. Yeah, the Lobi traits can be sold on the exchange. Yep. The Lobi traits can be sold on the exchange. The new Lobi weapons and the new Lobi kit modules, those cannot be sold. Yeah, John, I'd say take a look at the Discord, especially the Builds Discord, the EPG channels over there. There's a bit of discussion about the side carrier stuff because Type 7s have really buffed them up. Okay. So I can't show the Mark Twain kit module in here because against another player it just debuffs their outgoing damage. So I'm going to need to go into a patrol. So I'm going to shut down the other account. Do I think Badgey's appearance in game opens the door for lower decks and Prodigy bridge officers? Absolutely. Absolutely. Peruvian explosives? Yeah, that's a bit more niche. But yeah, for torp builds, that's a very good trait. Okay, let's go into a patrol here. I'm gonna go in on normal difficulty. Just see what Badgey can do. Does Badgey get any kills? That's what I want to see.
You've arrived.
You guys can see all the damage to my bridge officers. I do this intentionally just to get comments.
Yeah.
This is just normal, so it's not like a full-on DPS test, but here is the Mark Twain exceptional compromise kit module. You see, it's turned that drone into Mark Twain, and now he is going to attack the other Borg here. Or he's just going to stand there. Here is Agis against these Borg. Unfortunately, my bridge officers are now doing damage. Okay, the Agamite drone, it's doing some work there. Again, this was just on normal difficulty just to demonstrate stuff. Here is the sweeping stingers from the melee ability on the sword. We're gonna go around and fight random Borg.
Shield losing power.
Yeah, normal, the murder bugs can defeat a single enemy. Again, this is on normal difficulty. So, I mean, the normal they're doing fine. Let's see Agis here.
I am Agis.
Now let's throw Badgey in.
Teach you a lesson? Can I teach you a lesson?
I love just seeing Badgey over there and just doing his work. Is Badgey better than the Elachi Walker? I've never used the Elachi Walker, so I don't know.
Heads up! Incoming hostile! Damn!
I mean, I'd say on, you know, this lower difficulty, this stuff is fun. The female Mark Twain right there. Well, it's more of just to show the visuals, you know? Badgey's still going over there. Pretty sure the Walker is stronger. There's Mark Twain attacking the other Borg. I died because I like not doing damage. I mean, I'd say this new stuff is fun. It's not the highest performing, but it's fun.
You're clear to proceed. Get to the transporter room.
Now let's repeat that on Elite. Any good abilities to aggro all, including Alias? For space ground, I mean, for space, there's a few like consoles and abilities out there that you can use to draw the threat to yourself. There's the I'm linking out here. There's the strategist clicky to taunt foes to you. There's a few other things out there like that. Nathan, how's it going? So in Elite, they're not able to do as much. Just gonna stand back and let the kit modules and all these abilities do their thing. I mean, they're certainly fun. They're fun things to use. That's basically it. Now, let me show you the correct way to deal with ground. Called ball lightning.
Janeway's trapped.
Or
in
even better,
transport
agony
1.
field
Go get
generator.
her.
I would not use Lobi to buy Badgey. I would just directly buy Badgey off the exchange. It is so much cheaper. The drop rate for Badgey is very, very low. It's basically a 1 in 15 chance when you open the box from the Lobi store, which during the sale has a cost of 80 Lobi per box. You know, that's a really low drop rate. Nathan, doing good? Mac, that is terrible. So when you go to the Lobi store to get Badgey, you can't just buy Badgey, the combat variant. The box that has Badgey has 4 different Badgeys in it. There's the 1 combat variant, and then there's the 3 non-combat ones. So the issue is the combat variant has a very low drop rate. So if you look here, out of 1,000 of the boxes that I opened on the test server, so not live, I did not actually spend the resources doing that. But over on the test server, when I did the opening there, it was a 1 in 15 drop rate. Yeah. So it's just a very low drop rate, meaning that these things will take a lot of Lobi to get on average. It's better for you to just buy one off the exchange. It is going to be much cheaper for you. Let somebody else burn their Lobi and do the gamble for you. That's my recommendation. Ad came on for Fleet Command with Galaxy Quest. Yeah, it's a shame we didn't get the Galaxy Quest crossover for though. So yeah, it's not the best drop rate. They want, yeah, basically with the 1 in 15 drop rate and it costing 100 Lobi base, that's, you know, if you did buy 15 of them, you're not guaranteed to get one. There's no guaranteed drop with them. But you could open 15 of them and not get one. When I opened some on stream the other day, it took me 26 boxes until I got my first one. Yeah. Need a Stargate crossover? Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, for all of the new additions, my thoughts basically are they're really good visuals, they're really fun to use. I don't think any of them are going to be, you know, meta changers, but if you're looking for some fun things to use on ground, then go for it. How many boxes did Nick open again? I think he did like 30. Exchange, yeah. If any of these items appeal to you, you know, if you have the route to, or the option to get them through the player exchange rather than burning your Lobi on them, you're better off doing that. I was just in the Jupiter ground patrol. Yeah, I mean, you saw the drop rate for Badgey there. And you can just directly buy it off the exchange. 271 million. Skip the gamble. Just directly buy it off the exchange if you want it. And it's not even doing that much damage. It's more of really the hold that it does. And the fun visuals. Daedalus flight deck carriers? I wish. Okay. So I do want to take another look at the traits here. You know, again, there's 2 new traits, a ground and space trait. They're the exact same thing. The space one is called Drukmani Salvage Claim. The ground one is Barter for Combat. What this does is when you defeat a foe, there's a chance that you're going to get energy credits or any of these various commodities, including contraband. Short, that's rough. Yeah. It's gambling. I would just, if you have the ability to steer clear of it, then steer clear of it. Or just don't gamble, yes. Okay. I'm going to do a patrol here. I am in the Typhoon. And I'm going to go into a 9th roll. Five from 15. I need that type of RNG. Okay. Roll Kinger. I just went in on Elite. Oh no. I'm not going to have enough damage output to insta-kill the foes on Elite.
Sorry.
The Carter is ready to assist you.
And my tray's borked.
Lead the way. Shergat will follow. Reading a single Ferengi vessel, Marauder class. They've decloaked.
I thought leave enough of their ships to
I gotta change the audio. That was very loud all of a sudden. How do I like the Typhoon? The Typhoon's a good ship.
Well, there's good news.
There will be no deal. We want the spoils. Now!
You treacherous! This deal gets worse by the minute.
Green diplomacy at its finest.
Okay, I'm gonna move the chat over so you guys can see when I get any loot drops here.
Three words. The Gorn Championship Wrestling. Ship is under attack.
Just walk away, and there is an end to the horror. Walk away, one can.
This is just a thrown together phaser CSV setup from the stream the other day. If you want to see the exact build, it is posted in the CasualSAB Discord. It's not perfect, it needs some tuning, but I will have some other videos going out about this ship before most of you have it. With the ship itself, I will say the trade on it is rather weak right now. The numbers I saw from it the other day, they would have to buff it up like to do 10 times what it's doing right now just to make it even like competitive against some of your more budget trade torps out there. Budget torp rates out there in English. I'm using sensor link phasers. Given I'm running at a high crit chance usually, I opted for these. Just because I'll benefit more from the crit severity they offer.
They're down to a few ships. Keep up the pressure.
You know, I didn't pay attention to the EC that I got there, or that I came in with, and after, but let's see, commodity-wise.
Well fought indeed.
I already had the
They'll
contraband in my
think
inventory.
twice about coming
That's
after
from
us
marauding.
again. I'll let Alliance Command know what happened here today.
So I got 3 shape-shifting
You or
lockets,
any
3
of Modrin's
Tula
friends
berries,
try to harvest the spores in this Modrin.
and then I got an astrometric probe. Yeah, so the weapons, I'll show them quick. For this, I just have the Terran Rep Phaser DHC, and then I've got 4 sensor-linked Phaser Dual Heavy Cannons, crit damage times 4. Aft is the Pavan Omni, because on a CSV and fall setup, that is the best set Omni in the entire game. And it works with cannon firing modes, that's why I have it on. And then I have 2 sensor-linked turrets, also crit damage times 4. So we're going to do another patrol. I'm going to set the difficulty to advanced. We're going to do a rescue and search. And basically, I just want to go in and just see what I get resource-wise from it. So I'm going to just clear some of this stuff out of my inventory. Yeah. I'm going to take a note of how much EC... Actually, I'm just going to put my EC in my account bank for right now. I have messages coming in on Discord. Yeah, I still like adaptive. That is a nice damage buff in there. And the thing with adaptive is you can start reducing the cooldown on it immediately. I mean, you can do that with Domino too, but given the amount of haste we have nowadays from other stuff, I don't find myself using Dominoes much because fleet power is just so impactful. Especially you pop an Ox Spat right before it. Really, really great. Where can one acquire the most wonderful Andorian bridge officers? I don't know. I haven't looked at Andorian bridge officers in a very long time. You can probably buy some of them off the exchange, I would imagine. Let's see, Andorian bridge officer. Yeah, you can buy Andorians right off the exchange. Crit D versus damage, that's going to depend entirely on where your build is at. Generally, crit D falls into the Cat 2 part of the damage formula. And the value of that versus damage modifiers, you know, again, that's going to entirely depend on your overall build. So I can't give you an answer for that without knowing literally your entire build. And at that point, it'd be better for you to probably just take your build, put it into Trinity, and run the calculations yourself to see, you know, which is going to be better. And Trinity, that can take a bit of time to fill out, but it will just, as you're going through and filling out Trinity to find out if, you know, crit D or damage or X versus Y console is better for you, it really demonstrates why it's hard to give an answer to questions like that, because there's just so much that goes on with the damage formula, the damage calculation, that unless you know the specifics for each person, it can be hard to say, you know, whether A or B is better. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into the damage formula. Just a little bit. And if you want to play with that Trinity tool, it's over on Stow Better. So let me toss a link in here to them. You don't, with the Pavanomni, you can use it on its own. You do not have to use the set for it. You can just use it on its own. Yeah, if you want to play with Trinity, I'll put a link in chat. That is the Trinity tool from the Stow Better team. It is how you will figure out what exactly is going to be better for your specific situation. Okay. I'm going to go into Advanced Rescue and Search. This is another wave-based patrol. So I'm going to go in here and just do the waves and see what happens. Did I remember to put my EC in the bank? I don't remember.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming
I
to our
did, okay.
aid. As you can see, we're under heavy attack from Klingon raiders. Ja'ula and her minions are up to their old tricks again, I'm afraid.
I'm just going to take a picture of my inventory too, so I know before and after. Yep.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target shield has failed.
This is just on normal or advanced difficulty, so I can get through the waves a little bit faster. I gotta wait for the dialogue
We did
prompt.
it.
That rift's unstable. We need to hurry, or those ships won't make it.
Klingon vessels are warping into your position.
Piloting fail right there. Yeah, intel carriers are really good.
Thank you for coming.
I think even the Jupiter, you know, that's a ship that's been memed on a lot over the years, but I think right now with the current meta, that thing could still, as you got it out of it, so it's capable of doing well right now.
That's one less rift to worry about. Let's regroup with Kumarke.
Okay, time
Bad
for the
news, I'm
waves.
afraid. Klingons are
So let's
approaching
see
our
how this
position.
goes. I'm gonna sit like 6
Warning,
kilometers
ship
behind.
is under attack.
Apparently I went too far ahead here.
Warning, ship is under attack.
I'm gonna get hit by viral impulse burst here. Let me turn around. Go.
Target shield has failed.
Maybe not fly closer. Contraband there. That's nice. Yeah, I just realized the chat window being moved means it's covered, so you guys can't fully see it. I'm gonna move it right there. Yeah, side carriers are very much on their redemption arc right now with Voven console. Yeah, here's the console from the ship. It shoots out that net that flies towards your target. It is pretty slow, so that's why the recommendation is if you're using this on an EPG setup, you would use that console point blank against your foe, because it can do a lot if you're like point blank with it and it has some travel time through the foe. Like especially like a Borg Pickle or Borg Unimatrix in Hive. Like if you use that right, that's gonna devastate it.
Let's deal with the stragglers,
Okay.
shall we?
So let's take a look at the rewards here. Again, here was my inventory before. We'll do the before and after comparison just to see what I got. Ryan slavers are really slow. They got nerfed a very long time ago.
Their mischief once more.
So EC wise, I got 5,190 EC from that Rescue and Search Advanced. And I had a total of 278 kills. And commodity wise, I do the before and after comparison here. Let me move this over to the right a little bit more. So you can see I did gain all the commodities you see down here. So four provisions, 1 communication array, 1 water purification system, 3 of the Faragian auto leaves, 3 shape-shifting lockets, and I did get 4 contraband. So, like, that contraband's actually pretty good. Like, if you get lucky with the contraband drop rates, you're going to profit a lot more from this. Like, it's still very, very slow, but contraband, what is that going for right now? 50? Is that still like 50, 60K per unit? Well, let's add up what the value of this stuff is. I'm going to head back to the exchange, and I'm going to ignore all of the loot that's on the map there. Let's take a look at that. So contraband right now, quantities, buying that. Okay, so I got 4 contraband, and right now contraband's going for 65K a unit. 65,000 times 13, or by 4, I mean. So I mean, I mean right there, I got lucky with the contraband rolls. I did get over 250,000 EC out of that one patrol, just from that trait. When you're looking at contraband, always make sure you're doing ascending price per unit. Okay, so on top of that, I got 5,190 EC. The provisions are worth basically 100 EC per. The communication arrays, the same. Like, they're basically worth what their value is here. The water purification systems are a little bit higher. I wouldn't go out and sell these one by one. If you're using this, I would, just keep farming them. So you have like a stack of them to sell. The Faragian Nepata leaves, those are 3,500 per. People use those for like DOF missions, right? So let's say that's another 10,500 EC. The shape-shifting lockets, about 1,500 per, so that's another 4,500. And then for these other ones, let's just say 100 per, so plus 600. So I mean, I think that was an abnormal patrol because I don't think you're going to get 4 contraband each time, but the contraband really carried that. If you ignore the contraband, then I made about 21,000 EC off of that trait from that one patrol. But you factor in the contraband, which I think was me just getting very lucky. Yeah. Like it's a trait that, you know, if you get lucky with the contraband, it has potential to certainly pay itself off a bit quicker than I was initially saying. New bot meta, yeah. The Orion Slavers got nerfed a long time ago, but I mean, certainly if you wanted to try them again, you could. The trait cost, so you can buy this trait for 200 Lobi, 160 during the sale, or you can just buy it off the exchange where it cost 56.5 million. Do another run, see if it drops more contraband. Yeah, I mean, there's certainly RNG to it. And you guys may remember I did do patrols the other day, these same maps, and I didn't see a single contraband drop. But, I mean, it's just RNG. The trait has potential to pay itself off, but it is going to take a while. Even if you get lucky with the contraband like that, it's going to take a while. The contraband always has value. Contraband can never fully tank. Contraband, as soon as contraband gets cheap enough, people will immediately stock it up. How long does that patrol take? 5 minutes? Yeah. Now, the Orion Slavers got nerfed mega hard almost a decade ago, because they were being used for automated farming. And then they took a second hit because there was an exploit where people were making invisible walls in the foundry, and they would have Orion Slavers just sit in there farming the enemy endlessly through the invisible wall. That got nerfed, and there were some bans out for that, I believe. I'd rather another DPS trait than such a slow return on investment on the Lobi ones. Yeah. Yeah, every 5 contraband can be converted to 2,000 to lithium ore. Like most of my characters on my account, you know, the reason I have so many characters is because I would do contraband turn-ins on them. I don't really do this as much nowadays, but you look at most of the characters on my account, they're right next to a security officer on Kronos, DS9, ESD, whatever, and their entire purpose is storage for just random crap. This one just apparently has a bunch of agony beams on it, but they just do contraband turn-ins. Every 5 contraband can be turned into 2,000 to lithium, and like that's all these characters do. Brighton JK, thank you for the follow. Do I have other notifications that not go off? Christopher, thank you for the casual membership. I just saw that here. Homepage. I don't know why that notification didn't pop up. How's it going, Crichton? But yeah, the contraband does have a value because it can be turned into the lithium, so it can never fully tank. Yep, I'm live on YouTube right now. Isn't farming the reason they got rid of the foundry? They had a cap on that, so that couldn't be abused that heavily. Hi, Stan. Jazzy, thank you for the raid. Very much appreciated. Hope you had a good stream. Warp core. Yeah, I usually stream on Saturdays, but during special events in the game or when I'm doing some testing like this, I'll pop up a stream. Mac, thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. Again, Jazzy, thank you for raid there. Much appreciated. Osiris, just for general play, elite randoms when you're not chasing DPS, of course. I like the idea of having things build up just for playing, especially if they can be sold. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think this is a trait that over time can pay itself off, but you're not going to run it for min-max purposes, you know, because you're going to want to have a DPS trait on instead. But certainly for just casually playing, you know, acquiring some resources over time, sure. Fine. Yeah, the reason the foundry got shut down is because the last dev that like really knew how to maintain it, Maria Rosso, I believe. Well, they lost most of the people over time that knew how to keep going, and I think the issue was when Maria left, like she was already spending most of her time just trying to keep up with it to keep it like sorted right. So, it got to a point where they had lost most of the people that understood it, and it was taking up too much time to try and keep it going. It was just a very old system, very buggy, and without sitting down and investing a ton of time into it, it's just not feasible to keep it going. Nick, thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. Much appreciated, man. Crichton, consoles just got the 5th event for the year-long event campaign. You guys won't have the Dimensional Typhoon event for a little bit longer. Nick, again, man, much appreciated. How's it going? For those of you on Twitch, I'm also live on YouTube, just streaming to both at the same time. So if you're seeing me respond to people you don't see in Twitch chat, is because I am live on both. Yeah. I think at the very end, it was Maria was one of the last that knew how to keep it going, but the issue was it was eating up like all of her time, right? I would imagine, like just with how it kept breaking over and over. It was just a really old system, very difficult and costly to maintain, and they cut their losses. Nick is here. Yeah, Nick, I imagine is just waking up. Eagle pilot coming in hot. Any reason or same reason why DOF Admiralty have had nothing added in years? I can't read or English right now, but DOFing wise, there have been new DOFs at least. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see some new additions to those systems. I am fully gutted on Phaser Isomatics. Thank you, Dan. I'm using Watcher Bridge Officers. I got my crit chance up to 43%. How can I increase it? Traits. Traits like Terran Goodbye. Here it is. So Terran Goodbye. This is up to 15% crit chance, 75 accuracy. That's a lockbox trait. Lockbox ship trait off the Mirror Warship. Really good. There's Universal Designs off of the Crossfield Refit. That's also pretty good. That's up to 10% crit chance and 50 severity. I'm so dedicated to So Late on Stow. I mean, I've been around, you know, for Stow as a content creator on and off since, you know, like 2013. So I've been here most of the game's life. It's just I haven't really pushed it to the extent that I'm currently pushing it up until like 2021 is when I really started to push things. Again, Nicholas, thank you, man. How do I see the merger with Deca affecting the game? I think we're already seeing things move in a positive direction. We're seeing a lot of older things get attention. We're seeing them actually listening to feedback that things that they release, you know, maybe are underperforming, and that they're going in and adjusting them. For instance, you know, the lower decks Lobi stuff, which I spent the first bit of the stream talking about, they've went through and buffed a lot of that up. The Heroian Predator that launched about a month ago and just launched today on console, um, the trade on this was not good initially, and they heard the feedback and they increased the uptime. So they're listening to the feedback, and I feel like they want to go and you know, the vibe I'm getting with all these older ships getting attention is they want to just improve the overall quality of the game. I think I think the game is moving in a positive direction. Yeah, to bring the foundry back, it would be just completely rebuilding it. It'd be a lot of work. The issue is with Warp Core, me and Warp Core will meme about a lot of things, and certainly some political topics, and I don't want to, you know, especially with us approaching election season, I don't want to bring any politics into the channel, so I think it'd be best for those types of conversations between me and Chinops to remain private rather than being discussed, because there's, you know, this is stow focus. We don't need that real life focus here. When does the ship of the line end at DS9 and ESD? I think at the end of the month. 7 million DPS and an ISC run with Beam Overload 3 build. Is that an okay number? 7 million DPS would be the current top record. Do you mean like you got a max 1 hit in there with that or something? That would be impressive. 7 million with Beam Overload. I think Deca will focus on fixing and remastering older content. Yeah. Is the Heroian Predator worth it for the trait alone? No. The trait does have an issue with it, which I don't think they're going to do anything about, in which it will activate as soon as you go into red alert rather than the first time your weapons fire. So if you get put into red alert during briefing phase, you've lost the trait for your initial starting punch. Yeah, Pundus is doing a great job with the art stuff, especially, and yeah, definitely. I think having engagement on the player discords is a very, very good move. The issue is with warp. Did I say warp cord instead of Cheops? Oh. We only care about President No Cake around here. Yeah, and I want him to stop talking to me every time. Every time I load into those maps, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, no matter what you say about politics, yeah, exactly. That's why it's best to just steer clear entirely of that topic, because that's just a lose-lose situation. Pepsi. You should see Cheop's ship name. Are the sensor-linked phaser dual beam banks good? Yeah, sensor-linked is good. Yep, Robert indeed. Yep, I tested Badgey. The damage from it's not that impressive. I mean, it's better than what it was, but it does have a hold on it, so. Okay, I'm going to move chat off there. Cheop's terrible. Yeah. Indeed, Stu. Indeed. Okay, so Let's do another patrol with the Drukmani trade. I'm gonna dump these commodities into my bank again. And the EC. Just gonna give the trade a little bit more attention and see how it holds up in some other stuff. You have to be the one to land the killing blow to get the resources from it. It does appear, so just keep that in mind also. What would I say is the best pilot ship in the game? You know, I think the legendary Jem'Hadar attack ship is pretty good. It was so in the PvP I did, it did 15. Let's see, do I have it here? So in that patrol, during that very limited engagement, it did 5.44. But the thing with it is it does have a hold effect on it, so it will hold some of the affected foes, which is good for you. Because while the foe is being held like that, they can't shoot, they can't hit abilities. There is a secondary perk to it. It's not just damage, it's also a hold. Nick with the eagle answer. Yeah. The eagle is the best torpedo ship in the game. It would be very nice if we had more ships with commander pilot plus lieutenant commander command. That would be great, but right now the eagle is the only option for torps. Yeah, Terran Emperor. If you want some ideas, you know, I put that Talaru build in the Discord the other day, and I also put the video in for it. With the solo. That's not loading. My YouTube page is taking forever to load. I did put up a solo Kittimer Elite video. I'll drop that in chat too if anyone wants to check that out. Solo Kittimer Elite. I'll probably feature that in a video when I get something done about the Talaru. But for the Valdor at the end, she died to all the EPG stuff. Yeah. Mike, if you're up in space, it's based on your HP. Yeah, Nick almost got 5.2 with the Eagle. But yeah, the Valdor, she doesn't like the EPG abilities. Yeah, that video is linked in chat if anyone wants to check it out. I put it on the Discord, and the build that I used at the time is also on the Discord. Hit points. So if I'm looking at the colony deflector here on ground, it says +5 crit sev, +0 crit chance. But if you go up to space and you're at 100% hit points or hold capacity, it'll show you the full percent. If you look at it on ground, it's going to tell you the wrong number. Best modifiers for the Disco space set for re-engineering. For the shield, I've got it set to cap ×4, cap regen. For the engines, just speed, and then turn/speed is what I have. And for the deflector, just Control X and EPG with hull cap. Will Kelvin Plasma dual heavy cannon build work good on the Terran Akron? Yeah, it should. Yeah, it doesn't really matter which variant of weapons you use, as long as you're buffing them up right. Okay, we're going to do another patrol, so I'm going to do 9th rule again. this time on advanced and just see what the loot drops like. I'm gonna pop up a live parser, or it's already there. So see the kill count at the bottom.
Looks like there was a.
Take the cutter.
Lead the way, and the Shergat will follow.
Terrible, Nick.
Reading a
Weren't you
single
gonna do
Ferengi
a stream
vessel,
today for
Marauder
your
class.
tank build?
They've decloaked.
I thought I'd leave enough of their ships for salvage. I'll be under cloak.
Let the Ferengi run. We will deal with this prey.
Modron got the Hirogen to come all the way out here? I'm almost impressed. Well, there's good, bad, the Ferengi.
Ah.
Cutting out the middleman here, Modron. Give us the spores.
You treacherous!
I thought he was gonna do like some upgrades and stuff today.
It gets worse by the minute.
I expected more pirate from an Orion captain. I'm
The
disappointed.
nerve.
Okay. So sometimes when you go through the 9th rule too fast, it will break it, and that's what just happened here. Unfortunately, because of how fast I did it, the ship that you need to progress, it's disappeared. So I cannot complete this patrol. Okay, let me dump the EC into the bank. I only got 350 there. So let's hop back in. And we'll do here. Rescue and search is available again. I'm going for it. Yeah. Gotta hang back. Okay, so it's just my
Thank you for
position
coming.
screwed up. Not bad.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Gotcha.
We did it.
That rift's unstable. We need to hurry, or those ships won't make it.
Klingon vessels are warping into your position.
Thank you for coming to the blessing.
Our systems are coming.
That's one less rift to worry about. Let's regroup with Kumarke.
Bad news, I'm afraid. Klingons are approaching our position.
Ship is under attack.
Need to flank them, but my turning abilities are all on cooldown.
Four shields failing.
Just testing the trait right now, the space one that gives you EC and some commodities. Jay, good luck. Hope you get it. I don't know. X, how's it going? Unskippable ads? I'm sorry. That's entirely... YouTube decides what YouTube wants to do. I have the ads set up with their... just their automated thing. Sorry. I mean, if I wanted to get the C and salvage from it, then yeah, I'd need to loot all of it. And the thing is, what sucks on PC is there's no auto loot functionality, so with all this, if I wanted, I do have to actually go in and pick it up myself.
Let's deal with the stragglers, shall we?
You block Origin. YouTube Premium is great. Yeah, YouTube Premium is wonderful.
I think that was the last of them, indeed.
So, yeah, I mean, the issue with PC is if you want to get all the loot, you do have to sit there and pick it all up. Now, these little crystals, people always ask what they are. These are from the Tholian Nucleating Warp Core. If you pick them up, it's giving you some temporary shields. If an enemy hits them, it blows up. So yeah, like if I want to get all this loot, it'll take a bit of time. So we can see I got 4,780 EC this time, and for the items I got 5 communication arrays, 6 provisions, 1 contraband. I mean, so long as you get 1 contraband in a thing, that's not going to be a bad return over time. Like that's, again, contraband right now is 60 to 70k EC per unit. So if you're getting, you know, even just 1 contraband every 1 to 2 patrols, I mean, this thing isn't going to take as long to pay off as we were initially thinking. It's not something I would run for like any high-end build, but if you're just casually playing some content and you want to get some extra rewards, then yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah, so I need to pick up the stuff here. I'm going to do that while I do this. I did also get some Javanite, some shape-shifting lockets, and some of these other commodities. I got some warp coils. Yeah, contraband's worth a lot. Contraband is worth a lot of resources. Because it's one of the best ways to get to lithium. On your alternate characters. Clearly, you just take 5 contraband over to an alt, you put it in a, add a security officer, and it's a 20-hour mission, DOF mission. They turn that 5 contraband into 2,000 lithium. That's one of the reasons players like myself have so many alternate characters, is because that's just a great way to farm to lithium. Yes, this is a very tedious process picking up loot. You know, for Deca, I would love to see that system changed. Make this looting system better. Make it automatically pick up the loot. Am I using the Lorca console on this build? No. I think on budget to mid-range builds, I would still be running Lorca. But for builds that are starting to approach very high performance levels, so into the millions, I think you can afford to drop the Lorca console. Terrible warp core. Yeah, firing mode should always be first on your tray. Yeah, your primary firing mode for your weapons should always be the first ability that activates on your tray. If you put your firing mode behind something that has a long activation time, you can screw yourself over and have your firing mode misfire. Terrible. Yeah, I mean, the fact I'm getting an acceptable amount of contraband, you know, like even just 1 or 2 per patrol, or from every other patrol, I think is fine. Make the auto loot a veteran lifetime perk. People are always complaining about wanting more lifetime perks. That would be one right there. Make it locked behind having a lifetime. That'd be evil. Absolutely evil. But also for them financially, that'd be good. It would upset people. It upsets people in Star Wars that there's like basic function that, or SWTOR, that there's isn't it like sprinting is locked behind the paywall over there? That'd be funny as hell. Conrad, I did not intend to buy it out, but I put up a funding goal on the stream on Tuesday and said if this gets filled, I'll buy it out. It filled in like 3 minutes. That is the only reason I bought it out, is I put the decision in viewers' hands. The Typhoon is good. The Typhoon's a good ship. The console off of it is pretty interesting for EPG builds. The trade-off of it is currently quite weak and does need to be buffed. Stargate, it's very effective when used point blank. You use it point blank and optimize it to have as much travel time as possible through the target, and it's going to do a lot. Yeah, it is. It's basically, now that I've actually flown it, I do feel it's a better version of the Kirk. The Kirk Temporal Battlecruiser has been massively devalued because of the Typhoon. The Typhoon has come in and is basically just took the layout the Kirk had and done it better. Democracy, yes. Film, you know, the lower deck stuff is really fun. We took a look at some of the visuals, saw some light performance stuff on them. Badgey's doing a little bit more, but the more important thing with Badgey is that it's a hold. It will, when it's doing the stab thing on enemies, it's going to hold the enemies. So that's actually pretty beneficial for some situations. You know, it's holding the enemy. That enemy can't shoot you while it's held. Let's try this in some TFOs. I'm going to dump the items back into my bank here. And the EC that I got. It should be in my actual bank. Yeah, the Nova one was binding upon pickup. But that was fixed with the patch today. The Cygnus is an avoid buying now. I mean, if you like the appearance of it, it's still fine. But the Typhoon is definitely a big upgrade over it. You know, I think with the Typhoon now, I'm gonna pull something up here. Terrible J. Okay, so the Typhoon is basically this ship here, but better. The only difference is the Kirk has a battle cloak, because the Kirk is a 32nd century ship. So the Typhoon is better than the Kirk, and it's a free event ship. The Kirk is a promo ship. The only reason to go for the Kirk is basically if you just like the visual of it. Performance-wise, the Typhoon is better. least he got his haircut. The Texas. So the lower decks traits, the traits were not touched. The traits are still just like they were before. Drukamani Salvage Claim and Barter by Combat is the ground version. These will give you some extra rewards when you get a kill, but you have to land the kill shot. So if you're doing TFOs, if you're taking a Nadarian into some content like Starbase 1, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be getting the kill shot. In that team content, someone else can get the kill shot and you won't get any, you'll lose your chance of getting that extra loot from that foe. I didn't even notice, Gibbs. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's try the normal stuff that we would do. Let's do an infected and see if I get any loot from it. Infected elite public queue. If anyone wants to join, yeah, get the parser up. That went very fast. Let's put it over here where it normally is. Accept. Do pets kill shot count as pet or me? It should count as yours. I don't know. I haven't tested that, the trait though.
The situation is grim.
No idea, film. Nah, Nick knows. Nick knows I haven't finished the storyline yet. He tells me.
You will become one with the Borg.
Nick wants to see the story content continue. He knows how much I enjoy it.
Additional data is available.
Target shields have failed.
Got a contraband.
The nanite probes can repair the transformers. Stop now.
Need to move.
Target shield has failed.
Go slow right now.
A probe is closing in on a transformer. Destroy it.
I want to go for the kill, so I'm going to go for the board queue where everything's grouped up on.
Target shields have failed.
Yes, I know I'm not planking. And yes, I know I'm not hitting the gateway. Doesn't matter, it's dead. So I got 37 kills in there. EC wise, I got 300 EC.
Sensors confirm that the transwarp
But
conduit
I
is being
did get a
destroyed.
contraband. I got 2 medical supplies, and I got a water purification system. The contraband right there, that's 60, 70k EC. What is it right now? 68k? So it's like, in the grand scheme of things, you're already getting quite a few additional, loot drops, just from killing the foes and all that. But with this trade on, it's going to be a very slow bit of additional gain, especially, the contraband there. over time it can pay itself off, but it's going to take a while. To add 300 EC, but yeah, but remember, it's also giving me a contraband, and contraband's 68,000 EC per unit right now. So, you know, your normal loot drops are going to typically give you quite a bit more, but this is just something extra. On a casual build, it's something. Mike, yeah, been going at the stove stuff for a while. Ain't there a Ferengi Doff too that gives EC? Yeah, I forget the name of it, but it's not a large amount. I only need to make 1,000 contraband to recoup the EC investment. Hell yeah, that's doable. Here, that. HSE? Sure. I'm gonna bring a different build though. You know who would really benefit from those? Your free-to-play story character. Your kit performance is 630. Very nice. We're gonna try the console off the Typhoon. Just give that another go. Or Fez, please. Terrible. Have some deuterium here. And I don't remember the name of the console. I'll see it here. I've watched most of them. I haven't watched Prodigy yet. I really need to. But like all the movies I've watched all but TOS, TAS, and Prodigy. You know, once you spend money on a free-to-play character, it's no longer a free-to-play character. Well, you got Lobi from the event earlier this year and the event campaign, so I mean, it's got 500 Lobi on it right now. Okay, we're gonna do a Hive Onslaught Elite public queue. That popped immediately, which is always scary. I'm gonna swap or go to ground. Yeah, Orion Slaver pets are similar, but those steal from foes while they're alive. The straight does the drops when you defeat a foe. Prodigy is definitely worth a watch. Because half the chat is queuing. Yeah, how many do we have right now? 163 on the YouTube and 38 on Twitch. Nice.
Only fools dream of victory where none can be had.
Messed up right there. I did REA myself.
Warning. Ship is under attack. Core shield failing. Target shield has failed.
Now I'm behind on chat. I'll get caught up here in a few. Let's get through this first.
Core shield failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Core shields failing.
So to use this console, you get like point blank up against the pickle, fire it right through the end of it, right there, like that. Now it's going to go right through the pickle the entire way. See that?
Shields have failed.
The console off of the Typhoon. Like it's going to do a ton of damage to that over time. Look at it go through a pickle there.
Your efforts are futile. Destroy this vessel, and I will claim another.
Target shield has failed. Core shield failing.
I am the collector.
Gonna want to see that parse. Okay. Net anchor. I mean, the pickle died pretty fast, so it didn't have enough time to really do its thing. But still, 24k out of a 700k parse. Yeah, Martin, totally give it a try. Basket, how's it going? Now they fixed concentrate firepower, elite slavers can be a thing. I've always used just the advanced ones. Time for an upgrade, yeah. The REA curse, yes.
Did you think you had destroyed me?
Okay, so I did not get any commodities from that one, and it's just because of how fast stuff was. There was other people getting kills, so I only had 14 kills in there. Not get a single commodity drop from the trait, and I only got 300 EC. So I only got one foe that actually netted me the extra resources. Gibbs, I have you at 257k. I'll put the EC in the bank here. Terrible, Nick. Yeah, we can do a Corfez and see how it goes. Absolutely. I'm gonna sacrifice an Uncon to get a side team on the build, so I don't get screwed over there. And yeah, the Typhoon is similar to the Worldizer. I don't remember if I respond to that comment, but I just saw it. Yeah, it's similar. Okay. Let's get a side team on the build. I'll go without the jam targeting sensors. I'm just bringing a subnuke in case, or a side team in case I get subnuked. For the Corfez here. Yeah, to really benefit from the new trait, Drew Kamani Salvage claim, you need to be the one getting the kills, and if you have teammates in there in TFO content that are getting most of the kills, then you're not going to get a ton from it. Badgey stabs your enemies? Yeah, it's really fun. I've never heard of that, Mike. Can you please check how much EC you get from normal lead in comparison? A lot more. a lot more. Yeah. Okay, Battle of Corfez, public queue. And I'm going to queue for that now. Again, Battle of Corfez, public queue, as requested. Yeah. We looked at Badgey earlier in the stream. I went over the drop rate also.
Vodwar ships have invaded the...
Yeah, I know, chaps. I know. Lem in a cheval. Love to see it. We have a advanced escort variant here, which is this Hestia. Oh, wow, that really looks... I thought that was from a distance something else. Hey, you've got that Awani set up a bit different. From a distance, I legitimately thought that was like an advanced escort with the nacelles there. I did not expect the Awani. Oh, my damn thrust didn't go off. No. Back and hit these guys. Bombs something nice.
Target shield has failed.
Established an automated blockade.
Asteroid field.
Stop the Vodwar ships from breaking through our defense line.
Yeah, Tornado is going to be the key console. All the EPG right here.
Warning, ship is under attack.
EPG builds on this map do exceptionally well.
Rear shields failing. Right shield failing. 4 shields failing.
So much visual spam. I love to see the Cheval in here too, Lem. I love that ship. Backstep bug. When you use the backstep console off the Vern, it does visually screw up sometimes, like what we just saw. I'm gonna go over and use my buffs on this next group of enemies here. And they're dead.
Our Benson allies are running the planet.
Okay. Did that just floating off into nowhere? Yeah. EPG has a lot of visual effects. I'm gonna go far right. Let's spread out here, make sure we don't lose anything.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Backstep again, get my cooldowns done.
Four shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%.
I'm too close to the edge of the map, so that's why I keep having things disappear.
Target shields have failed. Rear shields failing. Four shields failing. Rear shields failing. Four shields failing. Hull integrity.
See, that backstep bug really can screw with you.
Rear shields failing.
Visual bug. Wonder why some players are stuck at level 49? I don't know. Yeah, I just came back to life.
Hull integrity below 50%. Hull integrity below 75%. Target shields have failed. Four shields failing. Target shields have failed. Four shields failing.
I'm probably cut or falling behind on chat, so just bear with me. I'll get caught up here. When we get through this TFO?
Rear shields failing. Target shields have failed.
For tanking recommendations, check out Nick's channel. He's got a recent video going over some tank stuff.
Below 75%. Shields failing. Hull integrity below 50%.
Nick does a lot of tanking stuff over on his channel. Backstep bug again.
Four shields failing.
We failed?
Joint
No.
Command assured me you and your teammates
We
were
failed.
up to this task. I guess they were wrong.
And also check the builds Discord. There's tank builds posted over there. I didn't think we were going to fail that.
Warning. Ship is under attack.
Unfortunate.
Four shields failing.
We apparently lost too many ships. Nice, Nick. Fire. Yeah, it happens. It happens. What did I get loot-wise from that? So I got 4 medical supplies, 3 Tula berries, and EC-wise 1,000. So, I mean, the summary of the Jerkmani trait, the new lower deck Lobi trait that they put in, is in solo content where you are getting all of the kills, it performs exceptionally poorly, but it can pay off over time if you get lucky with contraband. I think, you know, just playing casually, going through stuff, you're fine with it. You're not gonna see huge EC gains from it, you know, right away. It's gonna take a long time for it to pay off. And if you're trying to use it in TFO content, it just doesn't seem to do as well there. What I'm saying is it pairs best with other budget traits like Rune of Our Enemies? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So like story content, patrols, I think this is a trait that you can potentially over time benefit from. But it's not going to be much. You're going to be better off just taking your EC probably and buying something else. And in TFO content where there's other players getting kills, it just isn't. It just isn't doing anything like it does in patrols. Yeah, Nick, I know. I know. I know I need to do more story content. I'm aware. I am on cooldown, Nicholas. How does it do in solo TFOs? That's a good question. Let me, you know what? Let's do a solo Cure Elite to see what happens. So I'm going to do a solo Cure Found Elite, and we'll see what happens with the trade-on. Okay. Perfect. I even got all my buffs ready to go. I'm going to go right to left here. I mean, there's been like 11, 12 parts of that story stream so far. I'm going to keep it going. It's just we've had a lot of other stuff to focus on recently, you know? Been a lot going on in the game, you know, recently.
These are your weapons. You will escort us to your own world, where we will begin assimilating your culture and technology.
Target shield has failed.
Not my finest solo here, but just testing for the drops, right?
Below 75%.
Fortunate.
Target's shields have failed. Hull integrity below 50%.
Nick's here, so of course there had to be some REA action.
Hull integrity below 75%. 4 shields failing. Rear shields failing.
Bioelectric wave off the Connie. Literally just, it does so well. From so far away, it just nuked all of those gens there.
Hull integrity below 50%. 4 shields failing. Hull integrity below 25%.
And that backstep bug is so annoying. It does the animation again after, so long after you've used it. Mike, thank you for the casual membership. Much appreciated. REA is rapid emitting armaments. It's the trade-off of the legendary Dederidex. It shoots out 3 hyper plasma torps out the front of your ship when you use your tractor beam. They fly towards the foe, and if you're too close, they can take you out with them.
You will be assimilated.
Warning, ship is under attack. 4 shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Right shields failing. Hull integrity below 50%. Shields failing.
Yeah. So I think I got like 1,000 EC before. I got another 1,000. I got another couple of medical supplies and 3 unrefined catcher cell. So it seems like the trait is nerfed for its performance in team content, in team task force operation content. You know, that's solo and 62 kills, and it just didn't do anything. I very much feel that the trait is not performing the same in team content as it is in solo. And, you know, if I compare that to the drops, you know, that I can get just from the foes I defeated here, it doesn't even come close. TS drum, that's a known bug that should be fixed sometime. It was not intended for the Voven to lose them. Yeah, I mean, in team content, this does not perform well. The Drukmani trait. In patrols, it was farming a decent amount of resources. I mean, still nothing compared to just the drops from defeating the foes, but... Okay. So I'm going to go to a vendor, and we're going to see how much EC I get from selling the loot I got in that TFO. Thank you. Terrible. Solo patrols for the trait? Yeah. I wouldn't run this trait in team content. It just doesn't... It just isn't doing anything in TFOs. Okay, I'm going to sell, or take the EC I have, put this in here. I'm also going to just deposit these items in. Now let's head to a vendor and see what I get for these other things. I have not tested the ground one Val. Yeah, I mean, just the standard loot from, you know, just defeating the foes, just taking the time to pick that up, that's going to net you a lot more for your time. Terrible, Nick. Never. So yeah, I mean, just picking up the loot in that cure gave me more EC than I'd get from using that trait in like a dozen PFOs. Both. Terrible, Nick. Nick, are you streaming? Will dual heavy cannons work good in the Terran Lexington? Yeah, absolutely. I used the Terran Lexington with cannons recently, and I was showing that off on a stream a week or so back. It works fine. Nick, why don't you start your stream up, bud? To be honest with you, Jay, I basically never use Gather Intel. So to summarize the entire stream thus far, the new Lobi items, the space trait, the ground trait, I don't think you should burn Lobi on them. I think you're better off, if you want those, just buy them with EC off the exchange, and even then, it's going to take a very long time for those traits to actually pay off. You have to get very lucky with getting contraband from them, and it just doesn't seem like that's something that's going to happen very fast. The Betazoid Lipstick Baton, that's a fine melee replacement if you want that, and that goes into a device slot. The new sword, I don't think is worth 200 Lobi. I would just skip that. The Exceptional Compromise Kit Module, this will turn your foe into, or it will turn low-ranking foes into a Sam Clemens holographic visual there, and they will be confused and engage the other foes around them. If the target is a player or NPC of captain rank or higher, it's placating them and doing a minus outgoing damage debuff. That's pretty decent for like just shutting down the amount of damage a boss can do. The Agis Aggression Network console, it's just fun to use, but the damage on this stuff isn't really meta changing. It's more of just for fun. The Badgey thing doesn't do much damage. The drop rate on it is exceptionally low. I would say if you want it, just buy it off the exchange. Do not try to gamble for it with Lobi. And it doesn't do much damage, but it does hold foes, so that is a benefit. Nick, it's going to be the same question. Okay. And yeah, the costume, you can buy the costume directly off other people on the player exchange. So again, you know, if you want this stuff, it's mostly for visuals. It's fun to play with, but nothing meta changing. That pretty much wraps it up. This is just a random stream to test the new stuff out. I am going to wrap things up here. Nicholas, thank you for the 10 Australian. Much appreciated. Never. Over on the Twitch side, we're going to send people over to Endeavor. Right here. Add. Okay, so thank you to everyone for tuning in. I'm going to go get some food. We're going to raid Endeavor over on Twitch. Do another stream on Saturday. And with the Elmo? Oh no. Okay. The raid is live over on the Twitch. Let me turn off the Twitch stream then. And for anyone on YouTube that wants to head on over to Endeavor, I'll pop a link to his stream in chat here. Thank you all for stopping by. Terrible. Okay. Terrible, Nick. Thank you all for stopping by. I will see you guys on Saturday.